distant memory lies the hopes that I had for you and me. Nothing more than a mystery. All the places that we'll never see. Driving to the future, driving away. We could be driving over to a brand new day. Hey, yeah.
This is where we'll be camping tonight on the banks of the Owens River. Wow, this is cool. We were driving on this dirt road trying to find the Happy Boulders trail. We couldn't find it, but we came across these spectacular chalk cliffs. Really interesting geology in the eastern Sierras. Well, right below us we can see the Owens River, the spectacular meadow. It's nice to see some greenery in this otherwise arid landscape.
Tam jest na górze to arch.
We have some cool rock formations here with these holes in them. Well, that one over there looks like a face. I'm now traveling about 13 miles north of Bishop to the Fish Slough Petroglyph site.
Riders on the storm, riders on the storm. Into this house we're born, into this world we're thrown. Like a dog without a bone and hacked her out alone. Riders on the storm. There's a killer on the road. His brain is squirming like a toad. Take a long holiday. Let your children play.
This area we're in right now is known as the Volcanic Tablelands. It's a series of basaltic plateaus. Obviously we didn't just come here to look at some piles of rocks. There are actually supposed to be some petroglyphs around here somewhere, so we're gonna walk around and see if we can find them. Here we go. We found some. Now, this particular petroglyph site is known as the Fish Slough Petroglyph site because back then when the Native Americans first made these, this area was much wetter and greener and it had an abundance of fish. Now, the exact purpose of these petroglyphs is still a subject of debate, but due to their close proximity to game trails, scholars believe that they were drawn every time an animal was killed to mark a hunting site and maybe also like honor the animal's death. But a lot of people also say they were drawn by shamans when they were channeling the spirit world. So they basically just drew what they saw when they were in a hallucinogenic trance. There's also a lot of sexual symbology in all of these glyphs. small human-like footprints were believed to have been made by magical spirit creatures called water babies who lived in the nearby springs and assisted the shaman, and that's why you see these hand petroglyphs right here to honor them.
We know one, oh, viva, we know one, oh, viva, we know one, oh, viva, we know one, knowing why never me, madam.
My next stop is the small rural community of Benton Hot Springs. Oh, this is cool. I'm in the small rural community of Benton Hot Springs. This small town was actually founded in 1852 by a group of local Native Americans who came here to make use of its therapeutic hot springs. Gold and silver were discovered here in 1862, and the town prospered for nearly 50 years. But thanks to its other natural resource, the town never completely collapsed. And to this day, people continue to come here to bathe in its therapeutic hot springs. Yeah, this isn't quite what people think of when they think of California. We've pulled up on the side of this road in the middle of nowhere because we saw these spectacular rock formations on the side of the road. Let's go check them out. Oh, what a cool find. Red rocks are another thing people don't normally associate with California. That mountain you see behind me is Boundary Peak, and at over 11,100 feet is the highest peak in Nevada, but it actually sits on the border of California and Nevada. Oh wow, incredible. We have a flock of inland pelicans over there. I honestly didn't expect to find them here because I normally see these guys at Pyramid Lake, so I had no idea I would find them in this region, but really glad to see them. It's funny because every time I try to find a specific creature, I always end up seeing it in a place where I least expected. Incredible. From Benton, I detour into Nevada to visit the old mining towns of Palmetto and Gold Point.
Their hearts are beating right out of their wrists. You get off this just fine. Take leaders down, then sit onto the stage. Why you like you should? The politicians don't you'll change the world, you're fucking useless.
So here's the deal. I originally wanted to visit the Cerro Gordo ghost town outside of Lone Pine, but it turns out that someone purchased it and it's now private property. So instead we're gonna take a bit of a detour and visit some ghost towns in Nevada instead. 3 miners who discovered silver in the area, and they named it Palmetto because they saw some Joshua trees nearby and thought they were actually palmetto trees. But due to lack of ore, the town was abandoned just a few months after its founding. The town saw a brief resurgence in 1906 when miners decided to try their luck again. A makeshift town of around 200 tents sprung up, complete with restaurants, doctors' offices, and saloons. The town was once again abandoned after just a few months. Saw another resurgence in 1920, and well, you can probably guess what happened. Today, several small roadside ruins stand as a reminder of the cursed mining town that failed to prosper. Wow, this is cool. We've just arrived at the historic mining town of Gold Point, and the area was originally settled in 1868 under the name Horn Silver by a group of silver miners and ranchers. However, until 1908, it was nothing more than a tent city. Around that time, the camp started developing into more of an actual town with several homes and businesses. Mining operations were performed on and off throughout the early 1900s. Then in 1927, gold was discovered in the area, which drew a new group of miners to the town. However, it never developed into the prosperous town its founders had envisioned. Population of just 1,000. By the 1940s, no strategic material was being mined here, and the miners went elsewhere. The last mine closed in the 1960s, and the town virtually became a ghost town. After years of desertion, Senator Henry Wiley, one of the town's founding fathers, and his wife decided to move back in and open a small grocery store. Little by little, new generations of gold pointers began moving in. Today, the town is home to just 27 residents who occasionally get together for cook-offs. I'm now returning to California to visit an ancient Bristlecone Pine Forest, passing by one of America's strangest learning institutions.
A child arrived just the other day. He came to the world in the usual way, but there were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away, and he was talking for I knew it, and as he grew, he'd say, I'm gonna be like you, Dad, you know I'm gonna be like you. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You
those buildings right there are actually part of a college called the Deep Springs College. It's home to just 26 students, and up until recently they only admitted male students, and the college is entirely self-sufficient, and every student is required to do some sort of work with livestock or farming. What a strange location for a college.
My son turned 10 just the other day. He said, thanks for the ball, Dad, come on, let's play. Can you teach me to throw? I said, not today, I got a lot to do. He said, that's okay, and he walked away, but his smile never dimmed. It said, I'm gonna be like him, yeah, you know I'm gonna be like him. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon, little boy blue and the man on the moon. When you're coming home, Dad, I don't know when, but we'll get together then. You know we'll have a good time then.
Wow, absolutely incredible. These spectacular specimens you see all around me are called bristlecone pines, and this is actually the world's oldest living organism, and in fact somewhere in this grove is the world's oldest bristlecone pine, which is also the world's oldest tree, over 5,000 years old. It first germinated around 3051 BC, which means it predates the Roman Empire and ancient sites like Stonehenge and the Great Pyramids. That's pretty incredible. I just realized something. California has the tallest, the biggest, and the oldest trees in the world.